Fight fans, two more fighters ready to make their way out to the unified cage. First up, in the blue corner, Thomas Orsini.
And there you see Thomas Orsini, Charles Jourdain, Louis Jourdain, and the mastermind, Fabio Hollanda. A number of generations of French-Canadian mixed martial arts royalty, if you will.
I almost didn't recognize him. He cut all his hair off since yesterday at the weigh-ins.
He had to make weight.
Well, he did try. He missed 137.2 pounds for Thomas Orsini, 20 years of age. Like I mentioned, training with the Jourdain brothers, just leveling them up. But it does make me wonder, after seeing what happened to his brother earlier, 2 fights ago, whatever it was, 33 seconds, it's got to make it, that's their older brother, it's got to make you a little bit nervous facing a dangerous striker like Dan Sopa. But, you know, you got to just put these things in the rearview mirror and hope for the best.
Yeah, you can't think about them.
Yep, and there's Louis Jourdain, Charles Jourdain, and Coach Fabio Hollanda. Great corner to have.
Louis Jourdain, one of the best prospects in the country.
Absolutely, just had a big win a couple weeks ago, returning from 2 knee surgeries, facing a real guy. And I thought he had the best performance of the night on that card in Montreal a couple weeks ago. He's got a bright future.
He does indeed.
I mean, still, I think it's like 24 or something like that. It's crazy. The Jourdain brothers, Laramie brothers have been around forever, and they're still like in their mid-20s. I don't know where time goes or how it works that way.
Somehow it works for them, just not for me.
Exactly, yeah. Shouldn't I still be in like my mid-20s or something by that accounting?
MMA math should work
exactly.
that way. Nice calm demeanor.
And these guys, like, they're in the gym all the time. Like, they work in property management on the side, but most of their time is spent in the gym. Like,
now making his way to the unified cage in the red corner, Dan Sopa.
And I think this is going to be a fun fight.
Oh, yeah. Dan the Cobra Sopa, or as I like to call him, the Sopa Star, 26 years of age. Been training for about 9 to 10 years, started with Muay Thai, and since 2019 has added in Jiu-Jitsu and everything else. He wants to go really far with mixed martial arts, and you know, he works as a tire technician, as what he says is a means to an end. But trains with guys like Pat Pitlick. You know, Pat Pitlick's training out east right now with Gavin Tucker, but he's gotten a lot of work in with Pat. And I remember before his first fight, Pat was like, watch this guy, he's really good. See how crisp his striking is, and it's been fun to watch him. Trains at 3 different gyms, TKO Fighting Arts, Guardhouse Jiu-Jitsu, and Olympus Martial Arts. He's got crew Chris Gregg in his corner from TKO, Alex Mower from Olympus, and Mike Diggins from Guardhouse. And he likes to train individual crafts. He says that's big for him. He's also traveled to Miami and gotten work in at MMA Masters.
That's awesome.
So he's been able to be in some really good rooms.
What I love is just everybody has different philosophies. That's why this is so cool. It's like we're going to compartmentalize our Thai boxing, our wrestling, our jiu-jitsu. As we look at the matchup board, the tail of the tape, Orsini will have a height advantage, but Dan Sopa will have the advantage in experience. How will that play out in this contest? I love the music difference as we set it up to my man Don Andrews.
Fight fans, our next fight scheduled 3 5-minute rounds to be a unified catchweight bout at 137 pounds. This fight sponsored by Crystal Glass. Introducing first, this man fighting out of the blue corner. Standing 5 foot 10 inches tall, his official weight 137.2 pounds. Fighting out of BTT Canada in Windsor, Quebec, and tonight making his pro MMA debut. Please welcome Thomas Orsini. Across the cage, his opponent, this man fighting out of the red corner. Standing 6 foot even, his official weight 135 pounds even. His professional record, 1 win, 1 loss, no draws. Fighting out of TKO Fighting Arts in Kitchener, Ontario. Please welcome Dan Cobra Sopa. When the cage door closes, your referee in charge reffing his 100th pro MMA bout is Matt Rocca.
Nice, Matt Rocket.
Congratulations to Matt.
Former fighter.
Get him a cake after the event.
Yeah, I will.
Look at Don Andrews with these facts. Beautifully done.
This bout scheduled for 15 minutes.
Well, if the prior fights are any indication, I don't think it's going to be happening that way, but we'll have to see.
I mean, Sopa's just not going to let Orsini, like, off the hook at all. He's just going to hunt him down. That's his MO.
Stalking him like a cobra.
Yeah.
Ready to strike. Good movement from Orsini. But he's got to get off the cage, I think. Never a good way to start off against the pressure fighters up against the cage.
You see the left hand, looking for the left hook and the right uppercut. But Orsini, he has to fire back. He has to get some respect from Sopa. Oh, and another massive shot by Sopa. Orsini in big trouble up against the cage on Queer Street. And a massive knee up the middle.
Yeah, Sopa, 26 years old. Orsini, 20. He's starting to big brother him here early.
Is indeed. Orsini doesn't seem to have an answer right now, just willing to cover.
Dan is just throwing smoke.
Serious heat, digging into the body. And I would imagine Sopa is just going to play that game. Just be at distance with those lethal long strikes, straight punches.
I imagine this is exactly what Dan Sopa wants. Up against the cage. Looks like he's trying to do target practice here. This is a good learning experience, though, for Orsini as he continues to log minutes in the cage.
Yes. And he has to fight back, though. He cannot just be a sitting duck because Sopa is going to fire. He's not going to be passive.
Ooh, nice front leg head kick. I always love those.
And then tried to come in with an elbow. I can't tell if it scored.
You can tell with the Muay Thai background his ability to get that front leg up high. Like Petch in Glory. Loves using that front high kick, and I love it. Nice overhand right. Or straight right, I should say. And it looks like Orsini's starting to show a little bit of a cut on his left side. Or at the very least a bruise.
Yeah, I think that was maybe from that elbow that I thought didn't land, that actually did land. And Orsini, yes, having his moment.
This is what Orsini needs to do.
And look at immediately, he knows that that's his spot, but Sopa quickly makes it his way back to the upright position.
That's still got to give Orsini a good degree of confidence that he's able to have a moment like that in a fight where he's lacked moments so far. Sometimes it takes you some time to wake up, and if you get there, you know, that reckoning will happen at some point in time in your mind. Where you're like, okay, I'm in a fight. I need to do all the things I learned. This is his professional debut. The lights are bright. There's lots of people here. Sometimes it takes a moment for you to just get dialed in.
And we also have to remember that, you know, the philosophy inside the fight is there's a bunch of fights in the fight. So you're just trying to win these small moments in the fight. And Orsini still has 2 rounds plus what's left in this round to win a bunch more moments, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of those moments are mental, not just physical. So you're playing, you know, the amount of adrenaline that are going through these guys' veins at any given time. If you're not able to get into that flow state, I mean, now he's starting to flow. He's starting to get his timing. He's starting to land. He's starting to get that respect that we talked about earlier.
He's like, I've seen all this stuff before.
Yeah, I'm in the gym with Charles Jourdain and Louis Jourdain every day, and they're throwing this kind of stuff at me. But, you know, it's not this environment. And now he just needs to soak in that environment for long enough where it starts to looking like the gym to him, and he gets into that flow state.
I think we'll see a different Orsini in round 2.
Yeah.
If he can manage to get there.
And now Sopa starting to get his momentum back.
Because Sopa is a finisher.
Yeah, we saw him finish Alex Glusman in his UFC, or sorry, his, let's not put the cart before the horse here, in his unified debut.
And there, another elbow. That one staggering Orsini. Orsini cannot be passive, though. The final seconds, I think best thing, just get out of this round, go back, get a breather, get some valuable advice. He certainly belongs there.
Yeah, just need to take some time to recalibrate. You saw him smile right when the round ended. I think he's happy to get one round under his belt, and now he can start to do what he's good at and pick up on the things that he may have left in the octagon in that first round. I should say cage. I'm defaulting to UFC terminology here tonight, it seems. But we are on UFC Fight Pass for our main card later on. Thank you for tuning into YouTube. Prelims here. And there's Sopa throwing a combo. I don't know if that was a slip or what, but it didn't look good. I'm sure the eyes of the judges, and they don't know sometimes if it is or not. You got to pay a lot of attention. There's that left head kick I mentioned earlier. A nice knee up the middle, and this is where Orsini was able to capitalize, take him down, and have some moments of success himself. And there's that nice 1-2. But then late in the round, Sopa gets back to what he's been doing. Corral him against the cage, land those combos. Let's see what this second round looks like. I'm very interested to see the adjustments that are made here on the Orsini side and the Sopa side.
I mean, I would expect if you're Sopa, you just keep doing what you've been doing, just more of it, right?
Yeah, I would say so, but I think at the same time, if you mix it up just a little bit, you're going to throw new looks at a 20-year-old making his professional debut, and that never hurts. Maybe go for a takedown, something along those lines, you know. Mix it up, but what he's been doing has been working. Definitely won that first round.
Oh, another lead round kick right to the dome, and Orsini fires back a kick of his own.
And he just seems a little bit too complacent to be up against the cage here. I think that he needs to try to demand center, move forward like he is right now. But you know, then Sopa walks forward and he moves backwards. So I think that if you look at Charles Jourdain, how he fights, it's so much forward pressure, and I think that's what he's starting to do here. This is where I think Orsini will have better success in this fight, is if he's backing Sopa up or if he's standing and holding center.
And that's what's happening right now.
100%.
But we talked about this a little bit earlier. Orsini has to get the respect of Sopa, and he has to hurt him.
Yeah, I think he's starting to get that respect, because when he was pressuring Sopa there, Sopa was moving backwards, and that's a promising sign if you're Orsini and his team. But now Sopa's starting to do what he does again, to back him up. But, you know, credit to Orsini, he's not accepting it. And I think that that's part of it, is you just don't accept the pressure. You pressure back, and that will get you some momentum. And that was a nice combo there. More of that is what we need to see.
Sopa trying to flash his hands, then go high with the kick.
Okay. Sopa looks like a mini James Vick out there. Looks similar to him, similar movement, tall for the division. There's a nice overhand right. Actually kind of resembles him too.
Yeah.
Always wondered who he reminded me of. I think I figured it out in real time.
Wide-eyed as Sopa advances. And
Nice body shot.
Orsini's trying to get a reaction, but Sopa's not really biting on things, and that's what Orsini has to do. But you know, easier said than done, is you have to walk through the fire.
Oh, nice combo from
Sopa.
Sopa, I should say.
The right hand scoring again.
Nice body kick.
And it seems in those moments when Sopa hurts Orsini, that's when he becomes his most dangerous, right? Where he senses the urgency and he goes after it.
Yeah, but he's starting to look a little frustrated. Yep. I'm not liking the body language from him right now. I think that he needs to dial back in, because otherwise he's going to be put in these predicaments again, up against the cage, eating uppercuts.
Now off the cage, Orsini trying to advance. But a lot of traffic from Sopa.
Nice elbow.
Double elbow.
And there's that Muay Thai experience paying dividends now for Sopa. I'm surprised Orsini hasn't tried to mix it up with some takedowns again like that. He did have that success in the first.
What's happened here?
I think part of the glove needs to get cut off, maybe.
Shorts.
All right.
Cutting the shorts. Something like that, yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Drain hanging down.
This is Matt Roca's 100th fight, so I'm just going to assume he knows what he's doing. Oh, nice low kick there from Sopa. And Orsini answers with a high kick.
And I think that's what it is. It's and Orsini.
Buckled him there.
And there you see Orsini trying to end things. This is where he's at his best. He has to go after Sopa.
All right, the urgency level is getting up there. 30 seconds left in the round.
And looking for the takedown. Excellent job by Orsini, but is it enough? He's got to really work Sopa if he wants to send a message to the judges here. And he's doing just that.
Now Sopa transitioning to the takedowns in his own right. Orsini looks a little disappointed. I think,
100%.
I think he felt like he maybe could have put his foot on the pedal.
Thinking about that Kimura, perhaps. That arm hidden. The final seconds.
I think what he did there might have been enough to swing the round for him. I mean, he dropped him, landed a nice combo, took him down. You know, what Sopa was doing was a lot more accumulation. So it'll be interesting to see how the judges look at that round, because I think that makes this round a lot closer than it was a minute ago, that's for sure.
Well, you know the scoring criteria. What in that round, if you are the judge, what are you seeing? Like, is that...
Yeah, I mean, I think for much of the round, you're seeing Sopa dictate the terms of the fight, land the better strikes, but none of the strikes are fight-ending strikes.
Yes.
Like, we're not seeing any sort of situations where the referee's closing in, getting a closer look, seeing what's going on. Now, again, it's a tough round to score because you've got so much accumulation on the Sopa side. So you got to think of it almost like a pendulum. Is the pendulum swinging the other way once Orsini drops him? Was it enough for the referee to say, hey, the ground that he needed to make up, did he make it up in those moments? And I think that is what makes it such a compelling fight to score. And I think this is where he drops him here. Yeah, look at that. Stiff right hand. Drops him, takes him down. You know, Sopa did get up right away, so the judges will see that. But at the same time, like, that's by far the biggest moment of the round. So I think it just, again, it comes down to whether the accumulation that was accrued was offset enough by that one singular big moment. And Orsini did have other good moments during the round, but that's the standout moment right there. And if you're Sopa's corner, you can't be comfortable with him being up 2 rounds. That round could have gone to Orsini.
Third and final round between Dan Sopa in the gray shorts.
Well, now Sopa's getting that momentum back. Just cleared the cobwebs and landing some big shots.
Orsini in the black shorts now advancing.
But Orsini's confidence is up. And
yes.
I think that is what's very apparent right now, is that early on, Sopa was even in that second round when he looked like he was a little bit overwhelmed. Now Orsini says, I know what I can do.
That's right.
I saw this man go down for my strikes. This is another human man. You know, I fight every day. This is, again, a game of wild swings. So if he can continue to swing this fight in his direction, you never know how that second round was scored, and you also never know if he can find the finish. Because Sopa's certainly going to be slowing down, I'm sure, in this third round. But Orsini, 20 years old, yeah, that 20-year-old gas tank. That's the best part of your toolkit in MMA at 20, is that you have that never say die athleticism and that the endless gas tank.
Great stuff, though. Tremendous battle from these two youngsters, but Sopa landing a shot on Orsini and then trying to follow it up with the knee.
Yeah, now I think that it's up to Sopa to get that respect back, right? Because Orsini is not showing that respect in this round. He is marching him down. He is landing the big strikes. He gets taken down there by Sopa.
Mixing his martial arts as Sopa scores with the takedown in that cross-side position.
Yeah, and you know what Sopa did in the first round was working. And then when it wasn't working, that's when you have to start utilizing some of the other tools in your toolkit to shake it up and make your opponent think harder.
Let's see what type of guard Tomas Orsini has.
Well, they do like their guillotines at Brazilian Top Team in Montreal, so he's starting to threaten it. Yep, and there he goes. Could be the Charles Jourdain special here.
Only grabbing on with one arm.
Yeah, he could be using it to try to get up, which is what I think
That's what it looks like he's doing.
He's got that other hand planted.
Will he?
And then this is where you can adjust, but Sopa takes him down right away. You know, in the third round, when you're throwing all those punches, you're going toe-to-toe. Those arms, they don't have the same kind of lactic acid that is required to finish one of those chokes. But he is trying. Like, he's. I don't know if he's trying to threaten the choke here or if he's taking a little bit of a breather to get some energy back. He does only have one arm under the neck. And now Sopa's using that time to...
And now Sopa taking the back of Orsini. Now, Sopa looking for the rear choke. In a real good spot right now is Dan Sopa.
Oh, let's go of it. Good defense by Orsini thus far, but Sopa still has dominant position over him. He's got a deep body lock, and he's going to be threatening with everything under the sun, I'm sure.
There it is, under the chin.
That's a deep neck crank right there.
No, that's a choke. That is the tap is going to happen for sure, and there it is. Dan Sopa, after lighting Orsini up throughout the fight with his Thai boxing abilities, he gets the takedown and secures the submission victory.
Yeah, and I think the Orsini brothers are going to go back to BTT, and on Monday they're going to be practicing that rear naked choke defense because both of them lost that way. But I've got to say, if you're Thomas Orsini, you have to take the good rather than the bad in that fight. You lost, the fight's behind you, it's in the rearview mirror, but if you go back and watch that, I think that he'll be very happy with the spirit that he showed. Now for Dan Sopa, you can say the same thing. Second round didn't really go his way, at least towards the end there. Was able to rally, was able to show a mixed bag. A guy that's known for being a great striker finishes with a deep choke like that. You gotta love it. See, there it is. It starts off a little bit of like almost a crank, and then he just tightens it up and it gets under right there. Now it's under. The chin comes out, and that's where this fight gets finished. Very good job by Dan Sopa. And a very encouraging fight, I think, for both guys. Honestly, I think they'll both walk away from this having learned a lot about themselves, and that's what matters at this stage in martial arts.
I agree 100%. Sopa now emerges and emerges victorious and improves to 2-1.
And he's an exciting fighter. This is somebody I think we're going to see a lot more of here in Unified. Very, very talented striker, but now he's shown his mixed bag, and that the work that he's doing at Olympus and at Guardhouse are starting to pay some dividends in terms of his grappling improvements.
Two fighters getting ready to go back to the center of the cage for the official result. John Andrews.
Fight fans, referee Matt Rocca calls a stop to this fight. 3 minutes, 24 seconds in your third round for your winner by tap due to rear naked choke. In the red corner, Dan Cobra Sopa!
Sopa star. There he is. 2-1 now as a professional.